track value beyond the deliverable. It's not about the resource. It's not just about the deliverable. It's about what that deliverable does for you and for your organization. Did this agency partner make your job easier? Did they help you influencing others? A strong agency partner can help you with that, even if it's as simple as helping you communicate internally across the different teams.
Welcome to Transforming Medical Communications, a podcast by MedComms experts. We share medical communications insights and advice from the best and brightest in the industry to find out what they're doing to push our industry forward. Here's your host, Wesley Portegies.
Welcome to Transforming Medical Communications. My name is Wesley Portegies, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer and founder of MedComms Experts. Today, I want to talk with you about how you can leverage your medical communications agencies as thought partners. Because ultimately, if they're not really solving real problems, they are just another vendor to manage. And let's be honest, medical communications is full of execution partners. And what you really need are collaborators. People who help you make smarter decisions faster. In our latest survey, the State of Medical Communications 2025, we got a lot of responses from people like you working in the pharmaceutical industry. And one thing became very clear. They were not looking for more slides. They were looking for more strategy. So this episode today is really about what that means in real terms. And how can you recognize and enable that kind of external partnership that actually moves your team and your results forward? How can you work with people and how can you leverage your agency teams to drive more impact? I get it. You're working under pressure, right? The budget gets tighter, the timelines get shorter, and senior leadership has higher expectations than ever before. And working with agency partners can be frustrating. Sometimes you're looking for the context, but maybe you get slides or a deliverable, but you need someone who helps you thinking it all through. So according to our survey, medical affairs leaders want 5 different things from agencies. They want strategic thinking and innovation. They want scientific depth and therapeutic understanding. But they also want fluency with digital platforms, including things like Viva and CRM or other relevant platforms. They want modular and omni-channel ready content. And above all, operational awareness of how your world actually works. Because you may have the best ideas, but it needs to be compatible with how your organization exactly works. So it isn't really just about skills. If you think about it, a lot of this is about empathy, anticipation, and insight. So let's start first defining what a thought partner actually is. What does a real thought partner look like? Well, it's not just someone who answers your emails in time. I can start with that. But it would be someone more who understands your business context, brings maybe some fresh thinking to the table, and quite honestly, asks the questions that you haven't even asked yet yourself. And I would also personally say, if you get the questions that make you slightly uncomfortable, that is typically a good indicator that they're asking the right questions, the hard questions. So here's an example. You need a new deck for your field medical team, and you go to your agency and you ask, hey, listen, for our new therapy, we need an updated deck for our field team. You give them the briefing. If you're working with an agency that says, thank you so much, we got it, thank you, here's a few practical questions. How many slides do you want? What color scheme should we use? And move on from there, that means you're dealing with quite a transactional agency. A thought partner can be identified by asking more thoughtful questions. So, for instance, they could be asking around, where is this going to be used? And I'm assuming you're in a global role. How are the affiliates going to use this? And how can we make sure that it's going to be truly and genuinely valuable for them? They would be asking questions like, what kind of feedback have you been receiving from the field team, from the MSLs so far that we can incorporate in this new version? And also, what does good adoption of the new deck look like? What defines success? And that is a true partnership. And this really matters more now than ever because medical affairs is evolving really fast. And you're being asked to show more value, align more teams, and deliver more outcomes. So if you're dealing with partners that don't give you that strategic value, it's going to be very hard to live up to all of those expectations. So the agencies that can really help you are the ones that actually focus on impact rather than output. And don't get me wrong, the output is extremely important. Ultimately, that's the work we do as agencies. We do produce content. However, it's not just about producing content. It's about producing content that makes an impact and understanding what impact means and understanding how you measure that impact. So I would say the best agencies out there are the ones that help you influencing your stakeholders, both internally and externally, that help you simplifying complex decisions and keep you on the straight path. And they're also the ones that anticipate any risks before the project turns into a fire drill, which is not uncommon. So that is really what was highlighted in the survey responses. So in other words, you don't just need agencies who do, but you need agencies who think. Now, of course, not every agency is born that way. And I want to talk with you about how you can actually help your agencies to cultivate this strategic partnership. Hey, we need your help. The best way to help us grow and reach more medical affairs professionals is to share with your community. If you love our podcast, please hit subscribe, leave us a review, and that way we can keep sharing insights from the best and brightest in the medical communications industry. Let's push our industry forward together. How do you activate them? Right? So here's a few practical ways. So the first one, and I would say by far the most important one, is when you talk about new projects with your agency partners, please provide context, not just tasks, right? And I can tell you, I've been in thousands, literally thousands of conversations with clients, and there are many of them who are really good at this, but it's also very regular where you get presented a solution. Can you make a slide deck? Hey, we want an infographic. Can you make a podcast? Here's the number of slides. Here's the number of episodes, right? It's all super pragmatic. The thing is, by doing that, you don't really tell why it matters so much, right? And if you don't work with an agency that is naturally inclined to be the strategic partner, they might either not think about asking the right questions, or maybe they have them in their mind, but it can be a little bit of a block for people to actually ask those questions. So it's really important to proactively invite them to do that. So next time you speak with your agency, maybe try to really focus on explaining the objectives of the project. Be clear on why it matters. What are the implications if this goes wrong? Is a good way to explain why it matters. Tell clearly for who it is. If it's for physicians, what kind of physicians? Which therapy area? What do they like? What do they not like? As much as you have about your audience, share it with your agency. And then last but not least, fast forward in your mind to beyond the project and then turn around, look back and define success that way. It's like, what do you want the desired future state to be? For instance, I had a client that came to me and they said, listen, Wesley, can your team please help us creating a material that would help our target audience being able to remember and repeat our mechanism of action? Because we see that they have trouble taking up this idea and we have trouble explaining it to them. So that is our goal. How could we get there? And this is very empowering because now our team was thinking about many different ways on how we could approach that. And as a result, we came up with a wonderful idea that worked out really well. If the same client would have asked for some kind of practical deliverable and we would have just executed that, we wouldn't even be aware of what we're really trying to do. The other thing is inviting challenge. In other words, agencies are service providers, and as a result, we are typically very service-minded. Well, we would love to take part in the discussion to see if there's better ways, but it's not always easy to bring that up. So for you to open that door and invite the people you're talking with from the agency to challenge your ideas, that is a really good thing to do, and you have really nothing to lose. In worst case scenario, you lose a few minutes of your time. But I guarantee you're likely going to hear some new and great ideas that you hadn't thought about. Number 3 would be track value beyond the deliverable, right? And I think I spoke to this a little bit earlier. It's not about the resource. It's not just about the deliverable. It is about what that deliverable does for you and for your organization. And also things like, did this agency partner make your job easier? Did they help you influencing others? And that sounds almost bad, right? But what I mean here is, you both internally and externally have sometimes some hurdles to overcome. And a strong agency partner can help you with that, even if it's as simple as helping you to communicate internally across the different teams. We often create, for instance, some slides for like a global medical affairs leadership meeting where we help our client explaining their project properly to the rest of their teams and maybe updating them on progress and reiterating what the objectives of the project exactly are. And this is extremely helpful. And also, you want to kind of revisit, and perhaps after each project, this is something you can think about, is like, did I step up where I maybe wasn't fully complete? So that is kind of the bar that you want to set. So being a thought partner is not just about being smarter. It is actually more about being better aligned. The expectations are very high. The expectations that your leadership requires from you are higher. And as a result, the expectations our clients have from us as agencies are higher too. And that's rightly so. So the best agencies, those are the ones that are ready to step up and break through this barrier and provide more value than you could have ever imagined. And I can't say this often enough. You don't need just content. You need collaborators who shape the thinking behind it for you. The content is just a byproduct of that. And if the thinking is right, the content will be great, and great content will make a big impact. And that's how simple it is. So what I would really like you to think about today is which of your agency partners help you to think more clearly? And which ones are maybe just ticking the box? And how could you create maybe some space for your agency partners for deeper and more input, especially for the ones that do just want to do more than just delivering content? And also, if this resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues. And of course, if you would like to explore what real partnership would look like for your team, drop me a message. Always happy to dive deeper together with you. So until next time, and stay strategic. Thank you.
Transforming Medical Communications is brought to you by MedComms Experts. To find out more about MedComms Experts and how we create some of the most cutting-edge medical communications programs anywhere in the world, visit www.medcoms-experts.com. And then make sure to search for Transforming Medical Communications in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at MedComms Experts, thanks for listening.